Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and today we are looking at doing one of potentially two or three things. We do, of course, have this new point of interest, or points of interest, plural, in this area right here by all the solar panels that we saw before. So we were wondering how the Aedirnians found a way to harvest a sustainable source of renewable energy, but otherwise we might head back over to this place where we're talking a little bit about, of course, we tried this encounter before. It was the one in which it seemed as though our opponents were resurrecting enemies that we destroyed, as if they were some kind of necromancer. And so we were thinking about how we might redesign our deck in order to make that more effective for us to go against this encounter. So that's also an option. I was kind of wondering if maybe by doing these encounters here, and potentially getting this chest as well, if there might be ways for us to get additional cards or whatever else in order to fine-tune further and increase the likelihood of us succeeding with this encounter, because it seemed like we were close. Well, at least if we had got really lucky, we might have been able to make it happen. But with a few changes, it might become feasible. With several changes, I'm hoping that that would start to certainly swing the balance back in our favor. So it might be worth giving this a quick shot over here. That's a little bit tempting, especially since we're right here, right now. So maybe we see what this is all about first.
Meve shook her head in disbelief as she surveyed the landscape before her. The Nilfgaardians had destroyed everything in their path. Burned farms, trampled fields, leveled orchards.
The bastards.
She hissed.
They mean to cause a famine.
I mean, let's be honest. It didn't exactly look like the farms were overflowing with crops beforehand. I mean, I suppose we've primarily just seen things that have been ransacked by the Nilfgaardians, but didn't exactly look like this place was thriving by any means. And I'm not sure that it is exclusively the Nilfgaardian raids that have put Aedirn in this place. Seems like overall just not doing so well right now.
When the Lyrians reached Braithwaite, a small village near Aldersburg, they saw gaunt men and women, more bone than flesh, gnawing on acorns and boot leather.
Oh,
The
that's not a good
invaders had
sign.
requisitioned every scrap of the village's food stores and hauled it off to their nearby camp. In strained voices, the villagers begged the queen to help them retrieve their supplies.
Milady, frost'll come before we know it. Fair't help us. Why not a soul will live to see the thaw?
Okay, so sounds like find some way to get some food for these villagers, otherwise they're worried they're not going to survive the winter.
Meve looked around at the blackened, scorched village, at the walking skeletons who dwelled in it. The suffocating smoke bellowing up from the fields sent tears streaming down her face.
I'll do what I can.
Was all she said. She knew this was not the time for a rousing speech. She needed to act.
Okay, yeah. Inspiring words are not going to feed them. So let's see, that's all we learned about from this point of interest here, but I imagine that probably means this question mark over here might be the way in which we tried to do something to get the food back from this set of Nilfgaardians. Let's see if we can chat a little bit more with the villagers around here, though.
Milady, have mercy. We'll waste away and starve.
Okay.
Milady, have mercy. We'll waste away and starve.
Alright. Point taken. It's not looking good around here. I am curious to see what it is that was in this area where it just looked so odd on the map. Like right here. What is to the right of us? What is to the east? What is this? I mean, there's a little bit of loot to be had. Yes, but why exactly does it look the way that it looks? I'm not so sure about that. Also, is there anything like... It seems like the kind of place where you would have a hidden treasure of some variety. It just gives off that vibe a bit, you know? That's not lootable? I suppose not? Okay. Like, buy this. place it. Did I see something pop up for a second? No, I don't think so. I think it's just the direction changing on our clicker. But anyways, seeing some Nilfgaardian flags over here, so this certainly looks like the place where we would run into the Nilfgaardians who are, well, stealing the food from the villagers, something along those lines. So let us try to peacefully negotiate a solution.
The Lyrians reached the outer defenses
Or
of
fight
the
them.
camp where the Nilfgaardians had taken Braithwaite's food stores. Rayla delivered her report.
3 heavy infantry regiments, Nazari arbalists,
The warrior said.
and I heard neighing, so they've cavalry as well.
Meve said nothing, working it over in her head. The fate of the starving villagers weighed on her heart. But was it worth risking heavy losses to aid them?
Sounds like we are severely outgunned and outnumbered. So, yeah. I mean, we gotta try, right? But it sounds like this could be a rather difficult one for what it's worth. Generally speaking, for whatever reason, the easiest encounters thus far in the game have always been the relatively major encounters with Nilfgaard, so that gives me some hope. So, let's give it a shot.
The Nilfgaardians keep food in storage and watch it rot while peasants perish from hunger. Will we allow this?
The queen said, addressing her soldiers.
Never!
Cried the soldiers.
I didn't think so.
Meve said with a smile as she drew her weapon.
Lyrians, attack!
Alright, so we're hoping that this is just all this foreboding talk about how, well, we're severely outnumbered, we won't be able to do this without suffering severe losses. Hopefully that just means that, hey, this is going to be difficult, and not a, hey, if you do this, then you're going to lose X recruits, and Y gold, and Z wood, and all that stuff. So, we'll give it a shot. Okay, so the battle for the granary. Meve wondered whether a single Nilfgaardian felt shame for seizing food from defenseless peasants, condemning him to starve slowly and painfully. Would he endure sleepless nights, plagued by nightmares? Perhaps turn away in disgust upon seeing his own reflection in a looking glass? She had her doubts. The Nilfgaardians perhaps not the most empathetic of people. So let's start the battle. Shortened battle, so just one round. And it is a battle, not a puzzle or anything like that, so we will have our own deck. So let's see. That does mean we could potentially fine-tune if our first attempt here is not successful. But let's see what we can figure out here. Whoa, okay, does look rather unique. So they have palisades, which are immobile. We, let's see. I'm gonna stick around for another round with resilience. That shouldn't really matter. Yes, that's a little weird. What is the deal with this castle gate, though? Immobile, permanent resilience. Every turn on turn start, boost a random ally by 2, then give it 2 armor. Death Wish, destroy all palisades and boost all enemies in hand deck on all enemies in hand deck and on battlefield by 2. Since this is on their side of the board, does enemies mean us? So, I mean, it says boss below the castle gate, so I think we can take that to mean that, yes, the strategy should probably be destroy this castle gate, which makes sense, thematically at least. So that means we're going for damage. Oh, did we already make changes? Did we already make changes to our deck to optimize for the necromancer, suspected necromancer encounter? In which case, we might have set this up to do exactly the opposite of what we want here. Yeah, I'm afraid so. We do have Rayla, and Rayla is so good that she might be able to single-handedly carry us. So, okay, maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. In terms of other things we'd like, I mean, Strays Infiltrator. Certainly not doing anything in their range row. Who knows what they're going to play in their melee row, but they might run out of space here. They have 10 cards. There's 9 spots in a given row. So if these are all units, they will run out of space. But, I don't know. That's probably... I mean, they could have special cards or other things like that, so my guess is that's not actually going to happen. Oh, also, Reynard would have been a card that we would have gotten... or used Rayla to get. If we have him in our hand... Yes, I guess that still works. So we'd go Rayla, And one of the cards we want to get would definitely be... Hold on, we still have them in our deck. Yes, Savior. So we'd get Savior, then we'd use Savior to card an order and give it 1 charge. So we do this to give numerous charges to Rayla, and then we play... And so with Rayla, we get additional cards out from our deck, and then at the end, we use Reynard to reset Rayla and reset Savior, and just play every single card from our deck, basically. So that's sort of the plan. But as we were saying, we have more of a boosting-centric deck rather than a damage-centric deck, which is a little bit concerning in this encounter where it seems like damage is going to be key. So things like Lyria and Scytheman that are purely boosting, I think we probably swap those out. Slinger's also going to be tough because they have so many things that are immobile here. They're basically locking this entire, or filling this entire range row with immobile cards. So I think that means that Stray Slinger might be quite literally useless now that I think about it. Which might mean that, again, since we made some changes, we might need to go with a Lyrian Scytheman or two. But perhaps we at least try to find something else. Bomber will be nice, certainly on their melee row. Potentially even on their range row. I mean, whittling away 2 damage at this castle gate, not sure that's going to make all that big of a difference. So that might not matter much, but having 1 for the melee row at least sounds good. And remember, Rayla will give us a ton of additional cards, so I think we might settle for this unless we think we can do better than the Infiltrator, but we don't really know if they're going to have big units for us to get boosted based off of. So that's hard to say definitively, and since we have a bunch of cards that we very much do not want to get, like, say, other Slingers, to replace this Infiltrator, I think we just settle for what we have. So I think
our swords shall taste imperial blood.
I think our deck is not very well suited for this encounter because, well, we have fine-tuned it for something that is supposed to be, well, it's supposed to have exactly the opposite objective. We also did stick with Knickers in our hand. We probably should swap this out because he can get summoned from our deck, so we don't really want him in our hand. Let's use the Bomber first, though. And we'll... Oh, wait, hold on. Also, what is this BM? Going and highlighting every card in your hand? For what it's worth, I do occasionally do that in multiplayer quests, just for the kicks. But I was curious how it looked when other people do it. It does look kind of cool. But anyways, enough BM. So, it moved to the melee row. Was this... This was definitely in the range row before, was it not? Did I totally deceive myself? I'm not sure that matters all that much. It's still filling an entire row with immobile units. But now it means we go Bomber and set their range row on fire.
152,
Okay, after
154.
2 allies appear, boost self. Does this happen every turn? Every turn on turn start, boost a random ally by 2 and give it 2 armor. Okay, so we really need to destroy this. What is our most efficient way to do that? Probably getting the damage down there early with the cavalry by marking it. Oh, and also, obviously this that we forgot to do, and I always forget to do. That darned leader ability.
Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
Okay, so what else? I mean, so it does look like they're going to have some relatively big units here, which could make the Infiltrator more effective. We did, of course, set this row on fire, and we've had this discussion before. Fire row plus Infiltrator means we might just totally mess ourselves up. So that's a risk that we found ourselves taking. Oh, it'd be amazing. There was another weaker card next to the Castle Gate and use Alchemist to make the Castle Gate weaker, but alas, this is not the case. So, what else can we do here? Mandrake, I mean, we have no idea what we're going to get from that, but that might be worth giving a shot here. Otherwise, we might be doing relatively early Rayla. Yeah, I think we go Mandrake. Let's see, oh, yeah. So, as we were saying, Slinger is probably completely useless here, because we can't move the Palisades, nor can we move these guys, because the other row is full. So it does... Did it actually deal damage, though? I mean, it had an animation, but it looked like their armor went away. So did that actually work? Damage an enemy by 2 whenever an ally appears. Gain 1 charge. Oh. Okay. Now that's not bad. We can work with that.
Wise choice.
And that's exactly the card that they're going to get here. So they're going to start to have a fair bit of damage. But that's not a terrible thing, because once a card gets damaged, we can use Martyr and Bear to convert it into a 22-point card, which is at least something. It may also mean that we're going to want to try to get Rayla down here relatively soon before they load up on so much damage that they can destroy her. So I think we go this route.
Also then, no other way.
And we're just hitting the castle gate here. And this might be our best source of damage. It probably will be. Okay, they are going after the Black and Free Arbalist. Remind me what this guy does. Next time an enemy uses his order ability, boost self. Oh, I don't like that, because we are about to use pretty much all of the order abilities in the world. So, yeah. Do we have enough units that we want to play that it is still worth doing that? How many points do they get per order? Boost self by 2, gain 2 armor. So as long as we get at least 2 points per order ability, or really more than 2 points per order ability, it is still worth doing. And I think that is still feasible. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get higher than a 2-point unit, I would like to believe. Do multiple stray cavalries, do they stack if you go against the same enemy? So that could be a way to get more damage, perhaps our most reliable way of getting more damage on the castle gate. That might be at least worth testing here. So let's go Black Rayla first to get Xavier. As we said, that'll boost up this armored cavalry. So we'll also give a lot of charges to our Black Infantry Arbalist. So actually, that means that although they're getting 2 points from every order that we use, we're getting 2 damage from every order that we use. So it's canceling out in that sense, and that gets us closer to breaking down this castle gate. So to use Xavier, give Rayla a bunch of charges. As we said, that's going to continue to give this guy more boosts. But now we at least see if this can stack. It might do exactly nothing, but I don't remember if we ever tried stacking multiple cavalries marking the same target yet. So I feel like it's at least worth giving it a shot. Oh, and also, boosting this guy to the moon is not the worst idea if we have Space Infiltrator play next to it, which is probably the place we're going to want to put that. So, okay. Then, what else? Dickers we just don't really ever want to play. Or at least not until the very end. So, again, we would have preferred to have kept him in the deck, but I totally did not even realize we had him. So, Reynard will reset... Ooh, this order ability as well, I suppose. While we're at it. We'll poke you. Then... Time? Ghost Rays Infiltrator? Well, actually, suppose we do this. And... Gascon's not going to be nearly as powerful since we can't really move stuff. Still 8 points, which is something, but okay, we do another Strays Cavalry. I mean, do we go all in and test this theory even more? I mean, it is going to be the most effective way to take out this castle gate, if it works. If it doesn't work, obviously, it's useless. But, as we said, this deck that we have designed right now is not really optimized for this encounter anyway, so this might be one of our only ways to make it happen, is by taking these kinds of risks, and if it doesn't work, we'll either modify the deck, or we'll go back and do the Necromancer-ish, possibly, encounter, because that's what we are actually more prepared to do right now. But anyways, more damage. And now we go Reynard.
Discipline shall bring us victory.
And we give even more charges to everybody. And now we could set the other row on fire. I'm not sure how useful that's really going to be when there's only one enemy there, and that one enemy does have a lot. Well, I mean, we want to get rid of it. Don't get me wrong. It's just that with only one enemy and fire having a 33% chance of triggering per enemy on a row, it's just not a lot of value from that. But, I mean, we don't exactly have the best alternatives here. So I think we probably do... How many charges do we have on Rayla? This one we're about to use. I think we go... We are going to want a Strays Infiltrator, but that should be the second one. It's either a Bomber or we just put down a Scytheman for the sake of getting boosted when we next use our leader ability. I guess we do that.
Should have listened to me, old lady.
Then we go Ranger, we'll poke you, get you boosted way up. We'll use Rayla to get you, and we are crossing our fingers that our fire does not destroy this guy. I put this in the right place, right? Boost up the power of the unit by the right? Yeah, okay. So you're going to become a 38, assuming you don't get destroyed. So fingers crossed there. Okay, that's more damage for them. Oh, it does stack. It does stack. You just saw that? All these guys damaged the castle gate, so yes, that does work. And now I think what we do, we probably go with another Strays Infiltrator, and should be able to put it to the left of this Strays Infiltrator, because this one's going to end up back on our side. So by the time that leaves, that will leave you next to this Alba Armored Cavalry, unless they happen to play more cards on this leftmost spot, but I don't think they're going to do that. Is there anything creative we can do with the Alchemist? Potentially using the Alchemist to carry over this huge Strays Infiltrator number onto another one of our allies. Maybe it's worth delaying a little bit here, so we have time to do that. Like, if we... Well, actually... No, I think we do... It's on deploy? It's on deploy, yeah. So we wait for that then. Let's go Knickers now. More damage. Again, target the castle gate, and once we get the Strays Cavalry dealing the damage to this castle gate, it's very nearly going to go down. We also have a leader ability charge on our next turn. There is a 42-point Infiltrator. Okay, and they did destroy our Arbalist, was it over there, that I was hoping would be the thing that we would use our Martyr and Bear on eventually, but of course we wanted as many turns worth of damage as we could possibly get. But it may not matter anymore, because using a leader ability charge on this castle gate will definitely, once combined with the Strays Cavalry damage, take that out. So that will be very helpful. So the Alchemist, we can use... We would ideally use the Alchemist next to this Strays Infiltrator on the right side of it, and set the Alchemist power to this Strays Infiltrator's power, making this a 42, which is amazing. The problem is, I was about to say we're going to run out of space in this row unless we use Manticore Trophy, move this, create a little more space. Now, suddenly...
If anyone asks...
I have done it wrong. So I did it the opposite of the way that I intended to do it. Oops. That cost us a whole lot of points. Fortunately, we can try it again. Obviously, would have very much liked to have done this multiple times, but alas, I did not read if it was the left side or the right side. I thought I remembered which side it was. Apparently, I did not. Knickers, destroyed our trinket there and became a 25. Excuse me? Whenever an ally is destroyed, this unit loses 25% of its current power. Oh, is that what happens? Do you come out when we destroy the gate? Have we seen one of these before? I feel like we might have. Okay, well, so here's the thing. Yes, we could put this infiltrator next to this commandant, which is currently the biggest. Could also, except if any of their cards get destroyed, then it will get significantly smaller. Or we put it next to this Alba Armored Cavalry, which is, yes, going to take, well, it's actually not going to take any damage from this mark because it is 34 armor. So now it's going to take a while for us to break through that, and by that I mean we're never going to break through that armor. So I think probably do no district just in case. And yeah, I think we lost this one. We, I think, would have had it had I not made that misclick, which is a little frustrating, but you know, I deserved it. I deserved it. Okay, and yes, we would ideally have had enough time for this to come back, and then we would have used this alchemist correctly to give our guys a huge power boost. Like, we lost, what? I think we lost 30-something points instead of gaining 30-something points, so it was a 60 or maybe even 70-point swing of a misplay, which is about as bad of a misplay as we've ever had, to be honest. But you can tell what the idea was. The idea was to do exactly the opposite of what we did. And so, well, set a unit's power equal to the unit on its left. Oh, yep. Did it wrong. Actually, hold on. Let's test here. Can the alchemist set its power equal to the unit to the left of itself? Like, if we go... Like, I'm not sure we're going to be able to target Knickers because it has immunity. We shouldn't be able to, technically speaking. But if we put you here, can I activate it on you? No, I cannot. Okay, so that means, yeah, the alchemist cannot be the card that goes to the right of the infiltrator. So that is worth noting. So, let's see. I mean, yeah, we can, in that case, hold on. Set a unit's power equal to the power of the unit on the left. So we'd also love to have someone next to, on the left of Knickers. But, that means what? That's +2, that's +1, that's +4. So that's...
Greetings.
That's the way. A much smaller way of making it happen. But, if we had done this properly... Hold on. So you're saying there's a chance. Hold on. So you're saying there's a chance. I mean, we don't deserve this by any means. But we do know how to win this if we were to try again. Yes. If we do still win after having the world's worst misplay, then that is ridiculous and should not happen. Except they might get some of their units destroyed by that fire, which would suddenly significantly weaken them. So this is, dare I say, remotely possible. Which is just kind of unfathomable right now. Kind of unfathomable after how much we botched this. And if we do win this, and I think that speaks volumes as to the statement I made at the beginning of this encounter, when I said that for some reason Nilfgaardian encounters have always been the easiest.
Your Grace, the battle's won.
How?
Secure the storehouses.
How? Oh my goodness, you saw how terrible of a misplay we made. We did not deserve that. But somehow, we still won.
Meve managed to rout the Nilfgaardian troops and regain the stolen supplies. However, the Queen's good humor faded soon after the battle. Her soldiers began loudly demanding she not return to the village and keep the food for her troops.
Nigh empty bellies too, milady. Or whatever we give them, the black-clad bastards will just steal right back. Better to strengthen our own army than the enemy's.
Come on, guys. That's not why we did it. Keep the food for our army, which, what, would probably raise morale, maybe give us some... I don't think it would give us some recruits. Maybe just raise our morale, or at least prevent us from lowering our own morale. Go half and half? Half seas? Is that the way to go? Maybe. For once, a middle ground? Excuse me? Is this a Witcher universe game? Since when does this exist? This kind of option. Or return it all to the village. So this was, of course, our original intention. This is the new option that just got presented to us. I would assume This is, like I said, either higher morale or prevent us from at least losing morale. We do have a lot of shrines left over, I think, so that's not a huge concern right now for me. This might give us either possibly recruits if some of them join our ranks, or some other kind of reward, perhaps? Not sure what half-seas would do. This might lower our morale, but I think, again, given how we have all those shrines, I'm not averse to going this route. I think we do this. I think we still do this. We are not a tyrant. I know there are many times where we have played like we are a tyrant, but we are not a tyrant.
Meve heard the soldiers out. In her heart of hearts, she knew their arguments held much merit. But she only said,
I'd rather fight with a clean conscience than a full stomach.
the Queen's words ended all discussion.
Yep,
The
there is.
soldiers
Low
loaded the
morale.
food onto carts and made off towards Braithwaite.
Tell you what, guys, as it turns out, apparently, praying at an altar fills an empty stomach. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, well, first of all, let's collect these resources. And there's a pretty sizable chunk of them at that. Are we going to reach 5,000? Which I believe was a threshold for one of the big upgrades. But that was a small chunk of stuff that time, though. Oh, we did. We did reach it. Okay, I was going to say. For a second there, I thought we were going to fall just inches shy. But let's take a look. Because we may now be able to get a very, very big upgrade. One that we were perhaps assuming was just never going to be within the realm of possibility. Like, this one was sort of our middle ground. Increase our recruit cap, or reduce the recruit cap that units cost by 10%, making it so we can build a better deck. But we were saying how long-term it would be better, or at least overall it is better, to increase our recruit cap by an additional 50, because that is obviously 50 additional recruit cap, whereas right now we're on 150, so assuming we're at that maximum, we're very close to it. Reducing the recruit cap cost of cards means 15 additional provisions, depending on how stuff gets rounded. And so 50 is definitely better than 15 by quite a significant margin. So I think we do. I think we do make this option here. The one downside would be, obviously, it's going to take up almost every last resource that we have. Which means, for example, if, say, we needed to create some new units for either finishing that other encounter where there's what we suspect to be a necromancer, and or that one back sort of in the Moulderwoody area where we had some monsters that we were fighting, some neckers, I think. If either of those we think requires that we actually create new cards, then we will have little to no resources to do that, or at least little to no gold to do that. We will probably still have plenty of wood. How much wood did this cost? We'll still have over 1,000. Yeah. So this long-term is amazing, because increasing our recruit cap makes it so we can long-term have a better deck. However, it doesn't directly affect the cards that are in our deck, so we still need to make those upgrades at some point. So for that reason, although we can make this upgrade, let's not do it just yet, because we don't want to trap ourselves in a situation in which we need to create more units, but we don't have the resources to do so, which might happen if we make this purchase, go to those encounters, and find that we just don't have a good enough deck to make it work. So, worth noting that it is possible for us to make that upgrade, and it is something we'd like to do, but let's first gauge as to whether we either can complete those encounters with the deck that we currently have, in which case, okay, fine, we'll use that upgrade, or maybe we find additional resources, and we can have the best of both worlds before that upgrade, and also make improvements to our deck if needed. But anyways, I think let's head on back to the village, where I suspect they will want to know what the result was of this encounter. And as of right now, it looked like it was a bad decision for us to save all the food for the villagers, because it lowered our morale, but of course, I don't think we're going to see the upside to that decision, at least not until we head back, and hopefully the villagers are pleased with our choice.
The villagers welcomed the soldiers with tears in their eyes.
Oh.
One fell to his knees before the Queen.
Oh, milady! You saved us from starvation.
See?
From turning one against the other. From eating horrid things. The gods bless ye 7 times over.
Meve
Aw,
smiled hearing these
That's
words,
so wholesome,
but
so sweet.
sadness lingered in her eyes. If the gods truly did reward good deeds and punish crimes, there'd be lightning bolts pummeling the Nilfgaardians day and night.
Maybe. Maybe we'll see some lightning bolts in the future then. Let's see. Well, not much, at least that we can see here in the way of direct returns from having chosen that route, unless perhaps these villagers have something to say.
Our own king left us for dead. Yet you, milady, though from a foreign land, saved our village, saved our lives.
Yes.
Our own king left us for dead.
I'm hoping that's where you were going to say, oh, by the way, we have some extra villagers who would like to join your ranks.
Our lives.
We're so grateful. Plus 10 recruits. Awesome. No, unfortunately, not the case. So, it was the right thing to do, morally speaking. Was it the right thing to do in terms of our rewards? Perhaps not. As we were saying, though, although we are on low morale, if we take a look here, we have, what? 1 shrine? I thought we had another back in Molderwood. Around here, 2 shrines, so yeah, we could get back up to high morale, which probably what we're gonna need for at least this encounter. Well, maybe more so for this encounter. And then, other than that, there are those 2 ones that we attempted previously, but didn't quite pull off. And once we're done with those, we are making our way toward what appears to be the end of Eddard. So, yeah, sure, still some places to explore over here, and they may very well have some other encounters of some variety, but we're getting close. We're getting close. And with that being said, I think this is a good place for us to wrap up here, so thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.